welcome back to yet again another deck profile. As mentioned in Dayusha's video, we are bringing you Vispo collab cards this time. And while Jason still has hay fever because we're doing this all in one sitting, because we are allergies for the because we're doing this all in one sitting, we are bringing you Jason's Vispo deck, which is Dragon Empire, and that is Emma Aizawa. So let's get started with the ride line. The grade 0 is the first map, Emma Aizawa. Shrine Maiden. Jason wins that. He loves Shrine Maidens. Hey. Let's be honest. He loves the Shrine Maidens.
I love them. Okay.
So moving on to the grade 1, which is hardworking new Shrine Maiden, Emma Aizawa. And then the skill.
Yep. No.
Just if you show that one on.
Don't run any copy.
Oh, you're right. So yeah. So its skill is.
There you go.
I do apologize for this. If your vanguard is Vispo, this card gains all the following abilities. Now I have confirmed this. If you decide to run Emma as a Dragon Empire build, you can still proc all the effects from the cards that say with if you have a vanguard with Vispo, because it's a dual nation ride line. I have confirmed that if you run it as a Dragon Empire build, you can proc all skills. So, if your opponent has one or fewer rear guards, if you would ride a grade 2 of Emma Aizawa in its card name from your ride deck, you may ride it without discarding from hand, which is, in a sense, Gandiva's ride line.
Grade 1, if I believe, right?
Yes. Yeah. So, its other skill is when this unit is rode upon by a grade 2 of Emma Aizawa in its card name, if your opponent has 2 or more rear guards, Soul Charge 2. So there's.
I forgot about that, yeah.
So it's a good function either way on the ride.
I forgot about that, yeah.
Moving on to the grade 2, we have Exercising Thunderflame, Emma Aizawa. So, if your vanguard is Vispo, it gains all the following. When this unit is rode upon by a grade 3 with Emma Aizawa in its card name, search your deck for up to 1 unit card with Toto Kogara in its card name, call it to the rear guard circle and shuffle your deck. Then, also on rear guard circle, when your grade 3 or greater vanguard attacks, this unit gets power plus 5k, which means it's not a once per turn, which means it will stack. And why do I say that? Because we have the grade 3 Sunlight Galaxy Emma Aizawa. So, once per turn skill, it's an act. You Soul Blast 2, you draw 1 card. Choose one of your opponent's rear guards and bind it. If you did not bind a card, your opponent chooses 2 cards from their drop and binds them. Vermilion. That's all we're going to say. Then, Auto Vanguard once per turn. At the end of the battle where this unit attacked, you cast Counterblast 1, you discard 1 card from hand. You stand this unit and it gets drive -1 until the end of that turn. If your opponent's bind zone has 10 or more cards and you perform Persona Rite this turn, this unit gains an additional critical.
Fun.
So this is what I meant with the grade 2 on turning the power stacks. And considering if you've run the Dragon Emperor OT, restands the Vanguard and attacks, the grade 2 Aizawa gains plus 15k power, which is very nasty. And that's without Persona Ride. So that's the ride line done. Moving on, so we're going to do grade 3s. Obviously, we've run the other 3 copies of Emma Aizawa for the Persona Rides, naturally.
Fun.
Then, we are also doing this on a discussion when we first thought about it, is we are running the grade 3 Penetration Dragon.
Here.
Tribash.
Sorry.
Yeah, we all do it. So Tribash's skill, for those who don't know, because it's not often used, if your opponent has less rear guards, when your vanguard attacks, if your opponent has 2 or less rear guards, you put this unit into Soul, choose one of your vanguards, and it gets crit +1 to the end of that battle. Now, I should mention that obviously if you have a restanding vanguard like Emma Aizawa, the crit only lasts for the battle it first attacked. Because it's freestanding to do battle again, you won't have that plus critical. Which means if you have another Tribash, and then is it worth doing? So, yeah. So we run 3 Tribashes for the extra crit pressure.
with 10 card bind on top of Tribash, Emma could swing with 3 crits. And then it loses 1 crit from Tribash's skill. So you're still swinging 2 crits.
You're still seeing very, very lethal. So moving on to grade 2s, we are running multiple copies of the grade 2, since obviously the rearguard skill, gaining power.
So you actually do run the grade 2 of
So-
the red line. Here comes the funny name.
So, we are running the card that the grade 2 searches. Pardon me. Going everywhere at my own place, Todo Kagura. So, continuously, if your vanguard is Vspo, it gains all the abilities. If your vanguard is grade 3 or greater, the cost for this card may be paid with an Energy Blast 3 instead. When this unit is placed on rearguard, you cast your canvas 1. So this is what would be also the Energy Blast 3 instead. Search your deck or drop for up to 1, charging toe together, Gonzalez. I hate having to say this. Call it to a rearguard circle on the same con name as this unit. If you search your deck, you shuffle it. Then, when your grade 3 or greater vanguard attacks, if you have Gonzalez in its same con as this unit, this gets plus 5k into the end of that turn. It's decent. And you run a playset because you can just search it and yeah.
Do everything.
Next up is a little tweak Jason's decided to add in, and it's completely understandable, and that is 4 copies of Virina Arcs.
Just
And
part of greed.
It's simply because part of greed.
I guess 5k.
Which means you're going to probably think, why run Arcs if you can't overdress? Well, you wouldn't run it without the prodigal son, as Jason calls it,
3 copies.
of Trickstar.
The Simp.
So he'll get put to one side because I jumped ahead of myself and went to grade 1 zeros. So moving on to grade 1s is...
Trickstar the Simp.
Go on, Jace. You can say it this time.
I don't know.
Nah.
No thanks. I just call it the fried chicken.
Yeah, or I call it Chicken Little from the film. Charging toe together, Gonzalez.
For the Japanese viewers, how to pronounce it in the product live stream. I can't keep a straight face.
If your vanguard is Vspo, this card gains all the following. When this unit is placed on rearguard, your opponent chooses 1 card in their drop and binds it. So yeah, rip your drop zone. Auto rearguard. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted Todo Kagura. Cost, put 2 other rearguards in the same con name as this unit into Soul. So in other words, you put this and Todo into Soul. Choose one of your opponent's rearguards and bind it. If you don't bind a card, your opponent chooses 2 cards in a drop and binds them.
Even if your opponent has a unit that got resist,
Yeah.
the resist unit cannot be binded.
So
But
you go to drop.
you still choose 2 cards from their drop then, because get over with the resist mechanic then.
Next up, we have
1 cap.
1 Fire Kitty. Skills again, ride line, 15k shield. But the rearguard skill is basically you just get an extra freebie draw.
1 card draw.
Which is quite nice. Then we have another little tweak, a little twist.
If it's have to get around with, if anyone has to retire my unit.
Veilord. Simply because of what Jason just said. Resist.
Basically,
it can't be targeted.
if I play against an opponent that has like, oh, I have to choose a unit. If I have Veilord, I just said, oh, I choose Veilord. They're like, it's retired. No, he has resist.
Yeah, it cannot be chosen by card effects. And then for PGs, we have the 3 Dragon Empires, along with Elementaris Sanctitude.
Fun.
Yep. So, great ones are done. Moving on to the triggers. So obviously we already covered Trickstar.
The Simp.
We have the new Dark PG. So, what it does is, on reveal, choose a card from your damage, add it to hand. You do not replace it, you just add it to hand. Then you choose a card from hand, you call it to rearguard, and you give the called unit plus 10k power.
Basically, even like if a card is face down, if I believe, you can also just take that
Yep.
away.
It just says choose up to 1 card from your damage zone, put it to hand, choose up to 1 unit card from hand, call it to rear, and it gets plus 10k power until the end of turn. Moving on, we have 8 critical triggers. Makes sense considering what the deck does.
Restadium.
And the amount of power this deck can push. Oh boy.
Fuck. 4 heals.
4 heals. Another copy of Trickstar, which was hidden amongst the heals.
Oh, oops.
So Jason is in theory playing 4.
4 Trickstars. Hell
So
yeah.
there's the 4 heals. Last but not least,
3 draw.
3 effect draws. So that's it for Emma. Jace, in your opinion, since the games you played, how would you rate Emma?
It's actually, if I go by 10, it's actually 10 out of 10. It's just the fact that Emma is not good with fast-paced decks, so it can get bullied.
Which I did to you by accident.
Yeah, but...
So I will tell you now, I will be doing a video for it in the next couple of days, is I did Benny Yakumo. First game we played, I went first. And I procced all the effects, and then I hit a crit on my triple drive and end the game there and then.
Well, to be honest, I didn't have a PG that time. That whole hand I had combos with no PG.
But against Emma, when it's not been passed, it's a pretty much an even game, I'd say. Really.
Yeah.
But with the build I've made for Benny, it can hit like a truck, really.
Oh, you did have my reviews for my thoughts as well for it.
Yeah. Which obviously, Jace, do you want to give them now since you won't be in the next video on Benny? Review on Benny. Did you want to give it a mention right now?
But just say it. Just don't let them hit 15 cards in soul.
Yeah. And if those
Foreshadow.
Yes, because we'll cover it in the deck profile. But one thing that we've noticed with these Vspo decks is that they're picking bits and pieces from other decks and incorporating them into one. So, like, for instance, Emma, when you think about the ride line, the grade 1 does a Gandiva ride skill. But the base of the deck kind of works on the same as, like, Vermilion. It works on Bind, Power. And it has a restand, which is your typical Dragon Empire. Jason calls it the female Dote.
Exactly,
because it does a female
Dragonic Overlord, the VTuber.
Exactly. And for those who don't know, Vspo is basically a company that do VTubing. And Emma Aizawa, Benny Yakumo, and I can't remember what the lyrical one's name is. They're all VTubers. And they made a deck. They made a specific first ever dual nation ride line. So, unfortunately, we don't have the other Vspo cards, so we can't tell you about them. But basically, what it means is, like, with Emma's support cards like Toto and the Chicken, you could run that in, like, Benny and the lyrical one if you run Emma's Vspo, because they're the only Vspo units currently going.
Yeah.
Which also means there's effect draws, basically effect triggers, effect PGs, and an OT.
Yeah.
And the OT is cracked. So it's not, I actually read this wrong. It's actually choose one of the following. You either heal, or you give a unit a crit.
Shaman. Oh, so like Shaman King.
It's like Shaman King. So you basically choose one of the following effects on reveal, and it's basically you either heal a damage, or you give a unit a crit. You choose one of the two. When I first read it, I thought it was choose all of the following, but then after watching them do a match of Benny versus Shadow Doji, I actually saw that it was in fact one of the evil. It doesn't matter either way, which is still good.
I say everyone would choose the heal, right?
It depends how the game's going.
Yeah.
If you're low on heals, I would recommend the heal. But if your opponent's no guarding, and with either Emma and freaking Benny, they're letting it hit, and you've already got a crit, I'd go for the crit. So yeah, so there are good cards out there, and obviously the Vspo do have specific orders that work as well. But for us, we've decided to try the actual Six Nation cards. So Jason's done Dragon Empire, as you've seen. I have a Dark Six build, which I'll show. So yeah, it'll be interesting. It just makes it more fun because then it's not a mirror match of Vspo. That's the only thing I don't like about having the Vspo decks is if you chose Vspo, it's a mirror match. Yeah. The only difference is the vanguards.
Pretty much.
So we hope you like that. Look forward to Benny. It'll be out in the next couple of days. Because I will do it myself. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe for more. Bye.
Bye bye.